Hi, welcome to another episode of That's Thing 2 Overture. It is episode 93.
93.
Hey, I got it. And today is Wednesday, December the
11th.
11th. It's coming. Jason's coming. It's his time.
Oh, are we on a Friday the 13th?
Yeah, we're on Friday the 13th
Is
this
there
week.
any like Christmas Friday the 13th?
No, because Christmas is always on the 25th.
But I mean like a holiday, like because to me that seems like it's because like horror movies are
Oh
once
yeah,
they
there's
get
there's
bankrupt.
plenty. So you have some choices. There's a fan-made film that's a Friday the 13th from they also did one called Never Hike Alone, and then they did a sequel to that one called Never Hike in the Snow, and that's like a wintertime Crystal Lake Jason fan-made film.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good. I mean, for fan-made films, they're pretty good fan-made
Well, I mean
films.
that's I would imagine that the like the being low budget and like kind of shoddy actually helps with your
Yeah.
horror movie because like the original Jasons and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like
Are
right now
cheap.
it's like right now what are we gonna, yeah, they're cheap actors with cheap cameras, and now you can just use like your phone, but you can do like the same stuff.
Yep, and like also it's super easy now to get like a drone to help get like aerial shots and stuff too. So it's the filmmaking process has been democratized and not by AI, but just by other actual technologies that make things affordable and easier to
i
do.
i am so frustrated with
You
AI.
don't have a helicopter shot in The Shining's opening credits anymore.
Like
Um, and
I'll,
then
I'm gonna walk through the door because you said it. Like AI, it frustrates me because
yeah,
I feel like like okay, so I want to say I'm against it, even though
yep.
it's gonna sound at the beginning I'm kind of praising it, but that's just we're winding up for the slap, which is I think
Okay.
AI is incredibly impressive technology wise, but it's only being used to steal and be garbage.
So it actually has been used in a couple things that are nice. I agree with you 100% by the way. But
Okay.
like they were able to use it to detect breast cancer, and it was able to predict it like 2 or 3 years before a medical professional could.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, like, I do think there are like uses to have
Yes,
have
not
have your
but they're
computer do some menial task for like 1,000 hours that a
yeah.
human could not do, and then
It's
come.
two Yeah, it's the two things. It's either the hyper niche things that most people are just unaware of and will not be in that situation, or it's good at doing the corporate bullshit that we just shouldn't have to do anyway.
Like, I would not mind if there's like a drone and an AI camera, and it would just go on like railroad tracks constantly and be like, is the track good? Yes. Track good? Yes. Track good? Yes. You
Yeah.
know, something that's like completely
Yep.
menial and garbage, and no human would ever want to do.
Uh-huh. And
But
then it
like,
can just
yeah.
say, "Oh, yep, here you go." But also that could be solved in like the problem with it is it's so expensive for the solutions it
Oh yeah,
provides.
hundred
Like
percent.
our like that problem you just described could also be solved by like pressure gates, like pressure sensors under the rail line too.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, that would also be expensive. And I'm no expert, but that seems like it would be cheaper to upkeep than the constant drone and AI running that
Well,
costs the bottled water to draw a picture.
we're not having to rebuild like nuclear power plants to support the server farms.
Yeah.
And it's just, and my
Um.
issue is it's like all this, and it's like, so what are you doing? It's like, here's our crappy 20-second video, or here's
Yep.
like a plagiarized like art that doesn't look
Yep.
good.
Here's my big titty OC that I didn't want to pay an actual artist to draw.
Or just didn't even like just Google search. You could Google search. There's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
If you want large breasted elf woman, it's out there.
But this is my OC,
Oh,
Kevin.
I see.
Sure, she's slightly different in every image this generates because it can't do consistency,
Yeah.
but it's still my OC.
Yeah, and that's like my current frustration with this. Like,
I made this.
I also think that in general, usage AI has like no value for
Oh no,
99%, if
no.
not more, of people.
Like I say, it's for the stupid corporate business garbage that everyone hates, but they, instead of changing that culture, they made AI. They made them more expensive.
It's also you got like
Problem.
you need your grift, you need your thing
Like,
to for the big
uh-huh.
tech to be like, yo, please buy the
Do you
new
remember
iPhone.
do you remember in Top Gear where they had to build their own limos? And I can't remember. I think James made the stupidly long one.
I do
And so he
remember
had
that.
And so he had the little like wheelie chair and the zip line so you could wheel yourself to the very back.
I remember
And the
that.
and the comment was, "This is a brilliant solution for a problem that shouldn't exist."
Yeah.
That's how I feel about AI.
Yeah. I
It's
just
also not even AI.
no, it's
It's not
not.
even intelligence.
No.
It's
Cuz
just semantic probability
it's spell
formulas.
check. It's a very advanced spell check.
Yes. I keep thinking like, oh God, as much as I think it would work because Mass Effect is so big, I want to start calling it virtual intelligence because
Ah.
Mass Effect distinguishes the two, and then people are like, yeah, it's virtual
Oh
intelligence.
man.
It's not artificial, it's virtual because it's not actually intelligent.
Yeah, it's just grifts on grifts, baby. Grifts all the way down.
Yeah, God, I wish I was morally bankrupt enough to run Griffs.
Oh, that's the whole plot of Kaiji, where he's like, God, if I was
Yeah.
just slightly more scummy, like if I could just push this man off the bar, my life is
Mhm.
so much easier, but I can't do it.
Yep.
I don't have that evil superpower of just being malicious and mean for no
Or like
reason.
or just the because there's other people who are just doing it because they're just selfish enough where they don't even think about the moral quandary. It's just like, oh no, I need to live. And Kaiji's like, no, we all need to
We all gotta
live.
do it. That's why we're putting our little mark on the shoes so we can keep it lined up.
Yeah.
And then that game's a fraud because you gotta jump off the left. Anyway, all right. What else? What else? I'm just looking.
So there's also a 1970s uh movie called Black Christmas. That's like a classic slasher flavor.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about the 2019 remake,
Oh, it's
but
probably
the
garbage.
probably it's probably like the 2010 Friday the 13th
Of course,
or
there's
the
Silent
2000.
Night, Deadly Night
Yeah.
with the hit scene
So
Garbage Day. I think that's Silent Night, Deadly Night too.
yeah. So there are then there's that Krampus movie that came out a couple
Yeah.
years back.
See, like
So
what I was thinking about is like, because the main like Jason and
I
Friday the 13th are so morally
mhm.
bankrupt. I would have expected like a holidays one. That's what I was trying to get at.
I think the problem is they do those, it's summer camp. So they can't do it at Christmas time.
Yeah. So
The
do they just?
closest you get is Jason Takes Manhattan,
Yeah.
but I don't. My brain wants to imagine it's like wintertime in Manhattan,
Is it just
but I
because
think I'm
like?
just confusing. He has a hockey mask, so I think it's cold.
Is it just because of like due to it being in like the Hollywood, California area, they just don't see those like Santa villages and crap that show up in like the
I don't
holidays?
know.
Because like
I
those
don't know
exist.
because they definitely they have to have those. Like Hollywood's so like bankrupt, they have to have like grifters who are like, oh yeah, I just throw this up every year.
Yeah, we have like
I,
our
I
forest
just
and then we just throw it up and then it's like we put like an ice rink.
yep.
Speedway and light, speedway and death, you know.
Uh-huh.
You're
Um
actually that'd be pretty. You could see it actually because you got it's as they say, film the rodeo. Like the set's already there.
yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
put up all the Christmas lights, and you could have like you're running through there,
Mhm.
have like the
Uh
menacing carol of the bells going on. It writes itself.
I feel like it's close enough to wintertime in 28 Days Later. Of course that's not slasher, but I feel like that could work.
I mean, listen, the hit movie The Thing proved that cold
Oh
works.
yeah. Yeah, there you go.
What was
Uh,
that? There was like some vampire movie I watched where it was like,
30 Days of Night.
yeah, where like the vampires were in the Arctic because it's like dark
Yep.
all the time.
Yeah, they go to that Alaska town where it turns into the 1 month of darkness, so they can have a month uninterrupted.
Yeah, they just hang out.
That's pretty good.
That was I don't know. I like the concept of that movie. I remember the vampires had like the full mouth of pointy teeth, which I
Uh-huh.
kind of like better than just the two vampire teeth.
I like vampires as long as they're monstrous. That's my problem
Yeah,
with
I
like
like.
I if they're gonna be pretty, they still have to be monstrous
That's what I'm
too.
saying. Like a vampire should be like it. Like in the true form should look like awful. It can hide.
Hmm.
It can hide itself. Like that's the whole point. Is you're supposed to be the
Yeah.
aristocrat, but when you're like here's my form. Like I have little pointy teeth. Like that's not enough.
Hot take. I feel like they should naturally always have a level of monstrous to them, and then it's like their natural level of hypnotism should make them look attractive to you. But like you should start seeing glimpses of their true self as the hypnotism starts to wane. So they're
Or
like, wait, what did I just see? And they're like, oh, I got to touch you up. Hold up, look into my eyes lovingly for a second, babe.
or we just know that in our current day we're like as people's freak has been exposed on the internet that like there's just going to be a group of people that are naturally attracted to their kind of thing and that means
Yep.
like their blood works the same way. So like if you're like a vampire and you have more of like a weird kind of bat thing going on, then the people who are kind of into that are going to be there, but that's also like your food.
Yep.
So you're like, oh man, his ears are so pointy, kind of into it.
Oh man, why am I the furry vampire? Gotta go to the fur conventions.
No, that'd be great. You could like if you're the furry vampire, that's easy. They're already
Yeah,
into
but then
it.
you don't get to be cool. You're
Who
like, oh
cares
man,
about being cool?
I'm
You gotta get your food. You hungry?
the whole reason I want to be a vampire is to be cool, Kevin.
To me, you want to be a vampire because you want to be like one, you gotta feed, and then number two, you gotta like have like your thralls.
No, I want to be sick as hell. That's why I want to be a
So you want
vampire.
to be underworld.
Yeah, I want to be underworld, or at least like Anne Rice.
Okay. You're not into Vampire the Masquerade. Well, no, those vampires
No,
are also all cool.
yeah, but now they're all Nazis.
Well, that happens.
That's the problem.
That happens to any tabletop setting. You either
If it
you,
runs long enough, yeah.
sometimes you gotta be very careful because they'll sneak in there.
Yep. You got to throw the first Nazi out, otherwise you got a Nazi
Yeah, you
bar
got a
before
Nazi bar in
long.
your hands, and then you got your stuff. I think that Indiana Jones game looks cool. I'm just not going to play it because I don't have an Xbox and I don't think my computer can run it.
I thought it was out. Like it was
It is
sometime
out.
last month where someone said something about it still like, oh, it should be coming out soon. I was like, what? What? How long was this game in the oven?
Oh, it was probably in the oven a long time because Microsoft's been kind of weirdly struggling.
Yeah. It seems like they finally got a hit though.
No, that's good.
Now
I,
they can close that studio down and
yeah.
save their board members some more money.
Well, the thing is, like, we need. I think Super Beast or like they said it the best, or it was like video games needs three major competitors or whatever, so that two can just trip over their own dicks and failure, and the third wins by doing nothing. So you need like Microsoft and Sony do something incredibly stupid, and then Nintendo wins because they just put out a good game, and then Nintendo and
As,
someone else do something stupid, and Microsoft gets a win because they just said like the online works and is good.
Is this why Nintendo did they screw up the system because they moved into a different market by being the Switch instead of an actual console?
See, I think no, because technically what they did is when Sony and Xbox were trying to out graphics each other, they just said, why don't we just not do that?
Yeah.
Like
Why don't we just sell to this market over here?
Why don't we just put Mario game out, and we don't have to worry about how many pores Mario has?
Yeah, look at all these pores on
Or
Mario.
you're doing your like your PlayStation 5 Pro where you're having to zoom in on like a character in the crowd of a Ratchet and Clank game and see like, now look how much advanced. It's like, well, who's doing that?
Yeah, I love Nintendo. Even Nintendo's upgraded Switch, they're just like, yeah, we just put a better screen on it. But it's not more powerful. It's literally just a better screen on it.
Literally, all the Switch 2 has to be would be like a Switch that runs its games better.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't care what the Pokemon games look like. I just want them to run at like a decent frame. I'm saying like a
And like,
solid 30.
yeah, like I don't. It's some. I don't know. They are baffling to me of how those are not stable.
I just
Like I'm not. Like you say, I'm not asking for a high bar, but I'm asking for stable.
I
Like
just
if you can't do this new graphical, this new display, just go back and do the 3DS Pokemon games again. Make them look like that.
yeah, like I really don't care. I just want it to run somewhat okay. Like it does. I'm not saying like
Uh-huh.
60 frames, 100. I'm saying like it could just 30 frames. Give me a solid
Yeah.
30. And like decent to no load times. You know? I don't
Yep.
want to That's it. That's it. I'm not complicated, man.
Yeah, I'm not asking for the moon here.
No. Did you watch the Panic Coic 2012 every Goomba glitch in Super Mario 64 video?
No, I did not.
You did,
Sorry, we actually went to a wedding this past weekend.
so
We were
yeah, you did like you have like adult responsibilities and human things. You're not
yeah,
like
we were traveling Thursday and Saturday and Sunday to and fro, and then actually like we're at campgrounds that had no service unless you were at like the coffee shop on the grounds.
oh hell yeah.
So yeah,
But that
and
could
it was
work.
cold as hell.
Okay, the cold part I wouldn't like. But
Yeah.
there's some appeal there. I get the appeal.
Yeah, it was also nice. So like, the website for the place has like, do you? It's like, do we have cell service or Wi-Fi? It's like, nope. And then so it's like, okay, well this is gonna be whatever. And then our cabin was close enough to the coffee shop that we still got their Wi-Fi. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
good. At the end of the day, we can still come back and be on my phone and be like, oh, okay, good,
Finally.
good.
I need to be on phone.
But yeah, so
So you
I
don't
didn't even read Hunter x Hunter in One Piece until like yesterday night when I'm like, oh yeah, this came out.
you can't talk about how listen, you want to snuggle up. You can tell Kelsey we can watch over 2 hours of an in-depth explanation of the Goomba mechanics in Super Mario 64.
I mean, that was 100% my cup of tea, but
Oh, it's incredible.
that's definitely not her cup of tea.
Yeah, like every one of Pan and Coke's or whatever 2012's videos. He's most famously known as the A Press video,
Yeah.
but he's
Oh yeah,
all
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's
How many
that
A
guy.
presses does this level take?
Yeah, he's that guy, and he's apparently he's gotten enough where now he has enough support. He goes, I can finally go full time, just making videos about Super Mario 64. And you're
Yeah.
kind of like, on the one hand, no, but on the other hand, and I mean this in with the utmost respect. I'm like, I'm glad he has used his hyperfixation autism for good
Yeah,
because holy crap, he knows a lot about Super Mario 64,
I believe that.
and
Um,
it's good.
did I talk last week about Pluto TV and how it's just streaming anime
Yeah, we
constantly?
talked about that. We talked about Pluto TV. We gave our recommendation of Pluto TV. Nolan isn't here, so I want to save talking
Or-
about. Oh, he might be here. We can talk about Jack
Okay.
Reacher
Am I
season
back?
3. Yes, you're here.
Okay. Okay. So I was gonna say Pluto TV has now unfortunately been turned against me.
Oh no.
Uh, Kelsey went to like change apps, and like the just in the process, like it popped up the channel guide for Pluto TV, and she saw America's Next Top Model streaming. So now there's a lot of America's Next Top Model being played in the house, and it's like, oh
Well, you
no.
know how it is. Everyone needs their
And
trash.
that show is very like mean and toxic. Like
Well,
I have to say,
I would imagine it would be.
like I don't know, like you know how the reality competition shows that I watch are more in the vein of Great British Bake Off, where everyone's very supportive and like
Yeah.
even the judges are just like
Yeah, British Bake
not
Off has like
mean.
it's the highest stakes but the lowest tension, or maybe the opposite. I don't know.
Yeah,
Where like it is very
like
tense. And you're like, oh man, I hope his
yeah.
frangipane doesn't work. But it's not like no one's gonna be like emotionally devastated.
Yeah, and everyone's just like nice and charming about it too.
Everyone
And I
there
feel
is
like
like friends, and then they always on the later seasons. I like it whenever they show like after the show, all those people meet up and are like hanging out
yeah,
because they
yep,
became friends.
uh-huh. And then like my other go-to reality competition show was Face Off, the Sci-Fi Channel one where it's like people in the FX practical FX world and they're just doing makeup and it's like here's your theme this week. You gotta make twisted fairy tale characters or whatever. And it has very much the same vibe of people being like, "Oh, I'm struggling with this," and one of the other competitors be like, "Oh, well, let me show you the trick of how I do cobwebs really fast and easy." And it's all I like the really supportive. We're in a competition, but we're also like not garbage human beings, and the judges are evaluating us, but they're also not like tearing us down. They're just critiquing our work.
Yeah.
America's Next Top Model is not that.
Oh
And I'm
boy.
sure the editing has a lot to do with it, of like trying to find people at their lowest and everything, but it's a lot of like factions inside the house, and then the judges like tearing these not even amateur models apart
Just
for not being
destroyed.
professional models.
Like what are so I'm not like give me some of the rundown because I would imagine being a model is like you put on the clothes and stand there. Like am
Yeah,
I,
so the premise of America's Next Top Models is it's a 12-week competition, and the young ladies chosen for it are supposed to be being taught how to be a model over the course of it, and then using that in the photo shoots they do and the challenges they do. But like they're clearly not using actual teaching theory. It's so whenever they do the shot, it's just like afterwards they're tearing them apart of like, your face wasn't looking at the camera, you're just looking straight down, you're not using the light at all. It's just critiquing the photo, but it's like, why aren't you telling them these things while they're doing the shot? Why is the photographer not like, oh hey, this is good, but can you move this way for me? Like I don't know, again, it's probably the editor cutting stuff out and not showing it. But if that were true, I feel like they'd have better shots throughout it. But a model is supposed to like be aware of where the light is coming from, how to use their props, how to pose in such a way that it seems natural while it's still
like
displaying,
accentuates the clothes or whatever.
yeah, or whatever piece they're wearing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, like there's a level of acting to it, of like controlling, what emotion you're displaying.
Okay. So I get it's basically it's more than what I think of where it's like don't be too thin, too fat, just wear the clothes, look pretty. There's a
Yeah,
bit more to it. But I'd imagine
yeah.
that similar, I guess, to Beyblades where these micro like micro expressions of crap where they're like Janine, you looked pouty, you didn't look seductive, you stupid
Mm-hmm.
idiot. How could you? And then she's like breaking
Yeah,
down.
yeah. And
Well,
then there's apparently a lot of toxic stuff in the back too. Like today there was an episode where Tyra Banks like yelled at this poor girl who was just like, I'm just tired of being humiliated and yelled at on this show. And like when she got eliminated, Tyra got mad that she wasn't upset that she was eliminated. And she had this air of like, oh, finally I get to go home. And she like literally yelled at her. And
Oh.
apparently, before the episode aired, the weeks leading up to it, Tyra reached out and was very like considerate and just like checking up on her and having a conversation. So when the episode did air, that contestant defended Tyra and was like, "No, y'all don't really know. It's not like that." And then also after that episode aired, Tyra had nothing to do with her anymore.
Oh man. So basically,
So
what they've done is they've scientifically like gathered the meanest girls, the meanest beautiful popular girls on the planet, and they said we're gonna put them in a house together and just
no,
see what
because
happens.
it's not even that. The meanest popular girls are the judges.
Oh
The
no!
contestants are
Is this
like
like
average
sorority
girls,
pledge, the nightmare edition?
pretty much, because like the contestants are like average girls who have like model frames
Yeah,
and like model builds. So they're all like tall and thin,
yeah.
but like they're just from like a variety of backgrounds. Because again, the purpose of the show was to show any girl could be a model as long as you're 6 feet tall.
As long as you're
Don't
six
have
feet tall, like 92 pound or whatever, and you're like,
and are and physically attractive
yeah.
in the face. But otherwise, anyone could be a model. Um, so I don't. It's a very mean show, and I don't like it.
I think I would like it if it went even further, but then they're not going to do it. Like
Kevin, that's just stand battles.
no, I want like here's the challenge, and then Tyra Banks puts a knife in the middle of the room. It doesn't say anything.
Okay,
Just
I did like one of the challenges. The day was like about being fit. It's like models aren't just skinny; they're supposed to be like fit. So it was literally like they had to run up all these stairs in like timed competition to see who could do it the fastest. And then whenever like one would get to the roof, because since they're going in like singles at a time, they'd get to the roof and then be blindsided with us like, okay, now you have to do a photo shoot. Like, wait,
yes,
what?
that's what I want. I want like the absurd like if you're going to be super 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 mean, then I need the challenges to be super 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 absurd. Like I don't
Yeah.
want like a regular photo shoot and then Tyra Banks is yelling at her like you're stupid idiot, what are you doing? Like I want her to be having to like cook a souffle and then present it to Tyra in an appealing manner or something, and then she like just throws it in her face and goes, "You idiot, that's not what modeling is."
Oh, you want the hunter exam?
Yeah, I think the hunter exam would be apt. They have to hang on, jump down, bungee jump, grab the egg, bungee jump back and make the omelet, and then present it to Tyra Banks, who just spits it in their face and says, "You shuffled the yolk too much."
And also halfway down the bungee jumping, the camera flashes. So
Yeah.
you better be posing on your way down to the
Exactly.
egg.
A model. Yeah, there should be like one day where it's just like random cameras where like there's a like the house has and you need to be at perfection at all times. So if we were like,
Because the worst photo is the one you will be judged by.
yeah, you'll be judged by the one where you're like sitting down and your like guts hanging out because listen, tell me, I don't care how thin or whatever you are, if you're sitting down, your gut's going to be showing. That's just
Yep.
is. That's fact of life. I am like
The
underweight.
paparazzi will find you.
Listen, I'm underweight, but if you get a picture of me with my shirt off sitting down, it's gonna you will always anyone will
Got
look like
that
30.
full.
Yeah, you'll look 30 pounds heavier. I don't care what you are. No one looks attractive, kind of slumped over, and they're gonna find
Uh,
you.
let's see. Outside of that, I watched Mulholland Drive on the plane.
Ah,
Had to cover the screen a couple times.
yeah. That's is that the Shining sequel?
No, that's
That's Mr. Sleep.
Doctor Sleep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Doctor
yeah.
Sleep. Yeah, Mulholland Drive is a David Lynch film. Some have said it's his what's like easiest film,
Okay.
but it was supposed to be. I was reading afterwards because there's a lot. Even it being it's David Lynch, so it's still just like okay, now let's read an essay about this movie.
Yeah.
Um, it was originally going to be a pilot for ABC in the wake of Twin
Yeah,
Peaks,
I thought it
so
was
then
connected to.
ABC could become the hot network.
Yeah, they wanted their own David Lynch vehicle.
And then ABC saw the like pilot he made, and they said, "No, this is not going to work." So then he got to go back and shoot an extra like 30 minutes worth of footage to turn it into a theatrical film
They don't
instead.
understand that the population is never ready for full David Lynch.
But again, this isn't even full. This is definitely not a hard movie to watch. I think especially nowadays too, where you're just like, oh yeah, I can see how this is just like a dream sequence kind of thing, and like
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. It's
we're also in a taste where
yes,
when David Lynch, when the people are saying like, what does this mean? And David Lynch responds, well, did you watch it? That's what it means. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get what he's going for.
yep,
It's vibes.
yep,
If you're the kind of person who can watch a confusing, weird David Lynch video and go like, what was that meant? And goes, no, it's the vibes. It's what you're kind of feeling. That's
yep,
what matters.
yep, yeah. If you can watch it, be like, that was okay. I don't think I need to watch it again, but that was better than a lot of whatever Hollywood puts out. I would take a weird David Lynch 3 out of 5 over like a standard Hollywood 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Listen, the only things I will accept for, and as I've said many times, the only things I give credence to is if your 7 out of 10 bland action movie that I watched with my dad on the weekend. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, eh.
Oh yeah. Have you been watching Maverick?
Oh, we have not watched Maverick because Paladin came back.
Ah. Okay.
Maverick is on our list when Paladin stops and or goes away sometimes. That's one of the things about Pluto
Yeah.
TV is sometimes like your on demands just go away for a couple days. I imagine while rights are being dealt
Yep.
with.
Yep.
But it's on our list. Also, we haven't been watching a lot of westerns because we've been in like Premier League glut. It's been like 5 days a week. There's been a soccer game in the
Oh.
afternoon.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
been
That's not a glut.
Oh,
That's a
it's extreme. It is
tsunami.
usually because usually it's just like it's usually on Saturday, Sunday, sometimes a Friday, but due to like international breaks and crap, we've had like an entire week of soccer. And there's been
That's
some
super
really
annoying.
good games. To the point where I've been like FIFA continues deserves to be corrupt. You can be corrupt if the product you make is that good. I don't care. Go nuts. You've earned it.
I don't think that's the statement you think it is, Kevin.
Yeah, I know. I think much like David Lynch, you get the intent.
Yeah.
The hyperbole is like, yo, you keep doing it. You can as long as I'm distracted, that's fine. Once it become
Yeah.
not distracted. Also, just as a show note, Nolan can't make it today, but I have seen the Jack Reacher season 3 teaser trailer, and I'm waiting for him to talk about it. I have a
Hmm.
lot to say
Yeah.
about Jack
That's
Reacher.
definitely a y'all.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about Jack Reacher season 3, and I'll save my thoughts for then. Did you watch any of that League of Legends the trading card game, the physical trading card game trailer at all?
No, I did not. I don't know. I don't even really play the Pokemon uh
Card game.
Pocket dueling. Like I don't know. I just so I'm not super I collect I'm a collectible card game guy, not a
Trading card game.
um yeah.
No, I get it. And the thing is, I think that is one of the faults I see in their League of Legends card game because it looks like they're just reusing like splash art. Like I hope the trailer was like test cards and not like finalized because a lot of those cards
Hmm.
were just like the splash art from the game, and that is not how you want to sell your card game.
Ooh, yeah, no.
Like
That is not.
your trading card game cannot just reuse art. It cannot do it. It's I mean, obviously if you're like reprinting a card, then like whatever. But even Pokemon cards from like base set 1, if all those cards were just like the Pokemon from like the strategy guide, it'd be it would not have that appeal.
Yeah, it'd be different.
You would not have the appeal of seeing a guy's like clay sculpture of a Weedle in like his backyard, and they took a picture of it and put it on the card, and you're like, wow, that's great. Or like a
Yeah.
weirdly janky 3D model of a Diglett.
God, those are the best Pokemon cards.
Oh, the ones where they make like a little tiny model and they put it like in real life. Those are
Yep,
100% the best
those are
ones.
the best.
I'm also a big fan of the recent new ones where it's just like a Pokemon in the like the scenario that a normal pet would be in. So it's like
Hmm.
here's Bulbasaur trying to get outside of like a screen door. And you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh
I like
man.
here's Eevee trying to get to the evolution stones that they have put out of reach.
Yeah, there's Meowth knocking over something on that. Like, yeah, like where they're like, yo, here's Pokemon. Those are good ones. Everyone always loves the evolution ones where it's the family as the kid gets older and the Pokemon
Hmm.
changes. Like
It's
big,
yeah,
but I'm saying like Pokemon would not work if it's just normal art. It would fail. Those cards would fail.
yeah. If it was just here's anime promo footage,
Yeah. Here's like
I'd be like, eh.
here's like that weird kind of like clip art style that you get in the 90s where there's like the official art and then there's like the western official art or
Yeah.
where it was like some guy drew it and you could always tell like it was a little bit different.
They sent a out to a style guide. They sent a style guide out, and they didn't quite adhere to it.
Yeah, it was like the Nintendo of America's version of it and you're
Yeah.
like here's like Pikachu but he looks a little weird.
One second, I'll be right back.
That's fine. I'll just keep talking about card games. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know. I'm also confused because I think that it's iffy that Riot's going to keep it going when they've failed Legends of Runeterra. And just in general, like my take on physical card games is I have no idea how they're doing because I mean I of course do not like going out and venturing with people, but I mean I tried playing Commander for like a couple month or two and going to like a regular thing like the Friday Night Magic, and even then I was like kind of didn't grab me. I don't know if I would go to some place with like League of Legends, the card game, but then again I'm also in my now late 30s, so it's like I don't know. Going somewhere to hang out to play a card game is not great for me. But maybe if I was in like a big city and it's like, oh man, yeah, you could go find all the people. You might get your cool friend group to go do it. You'd go do it, and I get that because that's how the we had like the Books a Million, where all the youths from middle to high school would go to play like the Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh. I get like wanting to go do that, but nowadays I'm like I wouldn't go do that. I wouldn't go do that. Especially if unless I could guarantee people there were pretty cool. But that's
Oh,
like,
I finally told Kelsey that's where we met was the Books a
yeah,
Million
Books a Million Yu Gi Oh!
Pokemon. Oh, I guess it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
It was Yu Gi Oh! At that point, but it was still the same diff.
And it made me go down memory lane of it. Used to be, oh yeah, y'all, we got space in the middle of the store. You kids, you just have fun out here. And then it turned into, yeah, you need to be back in this corner.
Yeah,
Hey, sorry, we told y'all you need to be in this corner, not the aisles near the corner. If you could tuck even more, yeah, really just pack in there. That'd be great.
yeah,
Yeah, we called the police to talk to you all.
yeah. Because it was one of those things where like it started, and I was there when it started. I was there at the first one, and it was like me, my friend from middle school, and like one other kid. And then it just like exponentially grew. Like when it started, it was literally in like the cafe area because it was like two, three tables. And then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we just have to kick it back to the back of the store and put like four tables out. And they were thrilled because they were selling cards.
Yep.
But then it outgrew it. But I was just saying that like physical card games are weird to me because I don't like I know the Magic audience is old and they want to go to those places to play like with their physical cards, but I just don't want to
Yeah.
buy physical cards.
Yeah, I don't either, because, like, 'cause really, if you're buying cards, you should just buy the cards for the deck.
Yeah.
But there is and Pokemon knows this because look at the app of like there's a magic to opening a pack of cards.
Oh, it's
The
great.
only problem is after you open the pack, the magic is gone, and now you have 11 out of 15 cards are garbage.
Well, it's also, but in the day, like, there's a special, unique thing of opening up your trading cards, seeing the art, and just reading them, just looking at
Mm-hmm.
your cards, and
Yep.
be like, wow, look at this. And look,
Yep.
oh
And hit the
man,
smell.
oh, it's the
Shout outs to
smell.
Rob.
It's the idea. It's the idea of like, and Yu-Gi-Oh had this too, where your brain would say like, oh man, maybe I could make all these cards connect and work together, because
Yep.
you didn't know that like, no, that's trash. You didn't
Yeah.
know
It's
what
like
was
yes,
trash.
all of this will work together, but they're still worse than the like 10 stock cards that should be in every deck.
Or like, listen, if you put all our current modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, yeah, there's the current like named card set and mechanic, and that is the deck that works. Where it's like
Uh-huh.
you're gonna be playing, I don't know, that's probably like the
Sorry.
dragons. Like let's say
Yeah.
Blue Eyes White Dragon is really good because there's like 20 cards that say like summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, give Blue Eyes
Yep.
White Dragon 5,000 attack and instantly wins the game.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
And meanwhile, it's like, oh, but my spell dagger of Gwendolyn, where now I can finally summon Gwendolyn, that the equipment is on the field, and now reattach it to her is still a worse card than, yeah, I put Axe of Despair on Gemini Elf.
I just played, yeah, like I put this in defense mode. I put
Sorry, yep.
Spirit Reaper. It's
Sorry,
done.
yep, sorry, Spirit Reaper. Can your Spirit Dagger of Gwendolyn do anything about? Oh, it can't do anything about Spirit Reaper.
No,
That sucks.
you did. You
Yeah,
went through all this hoops to get like a 1,700 attack creature,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, but but that idea of like, man, that'd be cool. There's a innate appeal of that.
There's a reason the anime works. Most of those cards are actually for the anime,
Yeah,
not
it's
for real life.
no, it's supposed to be like here's like the dream Christmas land scenario where like ultimate great
It all
moth
works.
comes into play, and then you draw the card that's like the bug spray that kills your opponent's creature when you're because you used parasites effect that worked. It's like, yeah, in regular Yu-Gi-Oh you'd be killed in like 2-3 seconds. In 3
Uh-huh.
seconds.
Yep, Cocoon of Evolution got Dark Hold, and then they attacked you twice
Yeah.
with Matasa the Zapper.
Yeah. Or just no, I just played Summon Skull and I killed you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played Mirror Force after you did your stupid thing. I just played Regeki. I just
Yep.
I just
I just played
Regeki'd
Regeki.
your board.
Sorry.
Trap hole. It's over.
Yep. Sorry, it doesn't matter.
It's done.
Well, I Monster Reborn your thing.
And now
Blue Eyes attack.
yeah. Good game, idiot.
Yeah, I Dark Hold, and then, hey, guess what? Monster Reborn your Great Moth onto my side of the field, attack and kill him.
Yeah.
Sucks for you.
Oh,
Oh, I also had a Harpy's Feather Duster, so you really can't do anything.
no, you can't do nothing.
You got Karibo in your hand? That's the only thing.
Yeah, you got it. You need it. You need that Karibo. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like in the pre video game days. It also kind of got me thinking when I was watching that video about Super Mario 64, and it made me think of like the reason that video happens is because that was the time when you got like one video game for maybe a year. So you are playing Super Mario 64 like every day. And you're when like nowadays it's kind of like you can't really do that with Fortnite. Even if it's like Fortnite and you're just playing Fortnite changes and evolves and there's so much to do that you can't be like I'm going to make my challenge speed run. Like I don't think and maybe I don't know and this is just kind of guess, but I feel like the speed
It's like everyone who had everyone who had Melee growing up had 100%ed Melee.
Yes.
Like it's just that's how it was. It's like, no, this is my game, so I've just played a lot of this game.
I played every mode of Super Smash Bros. Melee. I did. I
Yep,
tried to get as high as I can on like a home run derby with every character,
yep.
and
I
that's
beat adventure mode on the hardest difficulty with every character.
yes, and like, but that's not how it is nowadays. And for better, I think it's for better and for worse. Like on the one hand, it's like for better because you can have so many more experiences. You can you
Uh-huh.
can you can just you can play so many video.
DLC is a good thing.
Oh yeah, it also balance patches and stuff are
Yeah,
good, and you can just you can
yeah.
play games. There's so many good games, right? Like what I was saying, you want to play.
Oh, I think
You
if
could
they could have patched Melee, then Melee wouldn't exist nowadays. Those people wouldn't exist anymore. It'd
no,
be like, oh no, all that stuff that Sakurai doesn't like has just been patched out.
but also what I would say is like when you're like we were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh and like Magic the Gathering, like there is reasonable ways to play both of those card games with putting $0. Like
Uh-huh.
you could get
Yep.
Master
And
Duel.
now Pokemon. And
Yeah,
now
and
Pokemon
now
too.
all three of these you could play them fairly decently. Like not you may
Yep.
not yeah, you can whale in them. Like they're gonna let you. But if you want to have like your top tier competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck,
Hmm.
you can get that rolling in Yu-Gi-Oh Master
Yep.
Duel.
Yep. You can just play every day and you'll eventually get to build a good deck.
I at the time when I did play Master Duel, I played a bunch of Master Duel. I got my Eldritch the Golden Lord deck up and running. And let me tell you, it was pretty good. But like that game just power creeps and does whatever. But just because
Yeah,
of
that's just Yu-Gi-Oh!
yeah,
And
but
now Magic
yeah,
and Pokemon.
it's they all do
Yep,
that.
that card games realized as much as Mark Rosewater maybe fought against it in the 2000s, like if you want to sell cards, you have to power creep. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, it's the eternal conundrum. But yeah, no, it's just it's good, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like I how many young kids are getting into like speed running video games
Yeah.
and not like there's always gonna be but like how many young
Sorry.
like
Are you asking a question or are you saying there are lots of kids getting into speedrunning?
I'm asking a question because I don't know
Okay.
like
Okay.
obvious like I'm just gonna say a new game that came out relatively new to me. It's like Pizza Tower.
Mhm.
Like people are speed
Yes.
running it, but are
Yeah.
like the 12-year-old speed running it. That's the kind of thing. Like
So I so let me y- analogy that with one, even if you have a niche interest, there's way more people interested in every interest nowadays than there used to be.
yeah, that's
And
true.
then look at the classic Tetris World Championships,
Oh,
where
okay.
I haven't watched them in a hot minute, probably since the last time Jonas, before Jonas died, before the like 6-time world champion, died too soon. But the last time I watched, he lost to a 16-year-old who just like saw it on YouTube and got into it. Like
I do.
kids, that's how kids work. They
That
just
is how
watch
kids
YouTube
work.
and eventually they see something and they get fascinated by it. And then, oh, whoops, I actually dumped hundreds of hours into this because I'm a child and I don't know where else to put my time.
I
So
would
now
rather
I'm
do
just,
this than Roblox. And you know what? You are
uh-huh,
correct.
yep,
You couldn't crank 90s in Fortnite enough, so now you're gonna crank 90s by moving the L block,
uh-huh.
which is
So yeah, like kids are getting into anything and like we are slowly seeing just because someone's a child, it actually doesn't mean they're worse at something than other people are.
yeah, that's true. It's also like I guess
They may not have the theory locked down as like an adult who's good at it does, but it turns out rote memorization can take you pretty far.
Yeah. It's just like there's weird stuff that I feel like
Mhm.
maybe this is just I'm starting to feel the effects of getting old,
Yeah,
other than like physical old, where I'm
yeah.
still where I was able today I had a breakthrough where I was able to hold the steering wheel with both hands normally.
Ooh,
But I had to
all
very
right.
carefully put my left hand on there and very carefully take it out because I can't like just instantly grab it, but I was able to like grip the real wheel regularly.
Kevin, all I can imagine is the Simpsons joke where you've been driving like a cool guy and you're finally like hand is healing up. It's like, oh good, I can drive like a white guy again.
Basically, yes. Like 100% that is how we've been doing. Except sometimes you can kind of like grip it not using your thumb if you really need to turn it. But it's
Yeah,
good.
I
It's
just used the fingers.
yeah. And I posted on Blue Sky. I did see someone in town that had a Bucky inflatable Christmas Bucky beaver in their yard, and I
Yeah.
took a picture
I
of it.
mean, it's right. It's in
It's
Gatlinburg
in, yeah, it's on the
now,
way to
right?
Gatlinburg.
Yeah. So it's
I
there.
I want to drive to it, but I also can't justify driving to it.
Oh yeah, no, it's listen, it's end of the day, it's a gas
It's a
station.
gas. It's the Walmart of gas stations, and I understand
Yeah,
it's the Walmart of gas stations. And even though mentally, like, yeah, I'd really like to have a Bucky Beaver T-shirt because I went to Bucky Beavers. I think that'd be
God.
really funny. But like, it's not that funny. It's still like an
Yeah.
hour drive. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sorry. This goof is a goof, but it's Kevin, I will just mail you a Bucky's t-shirt
No,
from
I could,
Texas's largest Bucky's.
I don't need it. I didn't go to it when I was down there, and that was one of the reasons. Like, this is the kind
And
of thing.
and like and like and like any Christmas present, I'll get you like an extra large so it can be a sleep shirt.
This would be the thing I would do when I was in like college. This would be a college trip where I would say we're going to the Buckies.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Buckies and I'm gonna have $20 and I'm gonna spend it all there. But this would be the day. This is the pre-inflation days where you could get a lot for $20 instead of like
Yeah,
$20 is now like a fast
$10.
food meal for two.
God.
Saying I had to get I went to Taco Bell the other day and it was like $13 for me and my dad's dinner. And I was like, this is not how it used to be. Used to be you go for Taco Bell, you get your
Oh,
taco.
there we go.
Oh, you came back. I was just talking about my
Yeah.
old man inflation, where like you go to Taco Bell with
Yeah.
$5 and you'd eat like a king, and you'd have change.
Uh-huh. Yeah. God, it was so nice. I guess you can still kind of do it, but you have a very select options of what you can pick. It's like, I guess, beefy 5-layer burritos.
No, it's not. It's not the same. It's not the
No,
same.
it's not. Kids these days,
They
they
don't
don't
know.
know.
They don't know kids these days. Oh, I watched one of those videos you linked, the Salad
Yeah,
Fingers guys video. The Gish
yeah,
is coming,
uh,
and
yeah.
like, and I was like Salad Fingers, he's kept on knowing what like a nightmare looks like. I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm like, Salad Fingers always felt like I'm watching my nightmare, and then I watch that video, I'm like, yeah, that's just nightmare. That's just
It's just
Eric.
it he's just set up camp in the uncanny valley, and it's just like, yeah, this is where I live.
That's just Eric Andre yelling nightmare, nightmare, nightmare at me. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, I don't like anything about this. I'm still watching it, but I'm deeply uncomfortable. And not and there's it's just it's so it's not like, oh man, it's gory or whatever. It's just it's like everything's just wrong. It's a little
Hmm.
bit wrong. It's the
It's
best.
it's something pretending to be human.
You want him to design your Innsmouth villagers for the Shadow of Innsmouth or whatever. Your
Hmm.
fishmen. Because it's like, you're looking at it and it's deeply uncomfortable and wrong, but it is Right, you know that is human. That is human. These are people.
It's trying real hard to be human.
Yeah. Similar to one of the short games I watched where it was like, no, I'm not human. It was like a game where at night people come to your door and you have to decide, do you let them in or not? Because there
Mm.
are quote unquote visitors showing up that are pretending to be human.
Ooh, that's good.
And in the game it's like every day. So one, you have to have people in your house, or else the pale man will come in and get you. Who visits after he goes, "Is there someone in there with you?" And if you say no, he will kill you. But if you say yes, he'll leave.
Mm.
And it's cool because it's basically showing like things are going bad. Like there's one of the nights where like you see a bunch of soldiers outside of the house like trying to hunt for the visitors, and then the following night the pale man is standing there holding the head of one of the soldiers outside your window. And you're like, oh,
What is
we're
this game called?
no, I'm not human. It's part of like a
No, I'm
collection.
not. Ah,
Yeah,
where'd you watch it?
I watched like Eye Patch
That's
Wolf play
honestly
it
the easier thing. Oh, okay.
because he's been doing a bunch of like horror playthroughs. So I watched No, I'm Not Human,
Yeah.
and all the art has that look of like everyone looks like a horrible mutant, but it's also that's the art style where it's not necessarily what's going on, but
Mm-mm.
it has that feel of like, oh boy. And when people like you give people the test to see if they're human or not, and they all have like excuses where like one of the signs of the visitors is they'll have dirt underneath their nails, and a guy in your house is like, well, yeah, because I was scrounging around trying to escape, I fell down, I had to climb up an embankment. And you got to decide, is he real, or is he an invader?
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
And
Oh.
so like the demo, everyone is like set of like this person will always be a invader because it's like the proof of concept. But in the actual like game, like they're all randomized. So it's
Uh,
like you gotta either look for different ticks, or someone might be just telling the truth. They
yeah.
were
You gotta
they
check for all the traits.
Yep. That
That's pretty good.
it's pretty
That's
cool.
pretty good.
It's pretty cool, and I'm like, I liked the idea of it. So yeah, no, I'm not human. I
Yeah.
think it's like a Russian game because there's some Russia like folklore. Like one of the ladies
Uh,
is like carrying her dead husband on her back, and that's supposed to be some kind of like witch or ghoul.
uh,
It's those kind of things where there's like
yeah.
a lot of these characters are like, if you're like Eastern European Russia folklore, you're gonna be like, oh, that's the Goblin Man. But we're like, oh, that's just a weirdo. That's the Mad Prophet from the popular children's story, like Dimitri the Mad Prophet.
Yeah. Oh, that's Taily
Yeah,
Poe.
that's Taily Poe. He wants his tail. And you're like, I don't know what this is. This creature.
Yeah.
Why does it
I don't
want?
know what this little ape ape thing is.
Yeah. Are you are you the sexual assault version of Taily Poe, or the not sexual assault version of Taily Poe? 'Cause that's gonna matter.
Yeah, that's a big one on whether you get in or not.
Yeah, if you we don't want the we don't want registry Taily Poe. Taily Poe and the registry gotta go, gotta go. That'll probably be
Taily Poe,
like,
why don't you just have a seat over there?
if I remember, that'll be the tagline of the episode, which will be Taily Poe on the registry has to go. But it'll probably be more.
Oh,
I don't know. I'll think of something. Thanks for chatting with me.
yep. Thanks for listening.
Anyway, bye, listeners.
Bye, everybody.